Okay, so just changing the subject slightly
Okay.
because I just found it out about it this morning. Did you know that there was in the 80s a DC Comics tabletop game?
Yeah.
I did not know this existed. And I think it's super cool.
I think everything has had a TTRPG at this point,
I
but yeah.
The only thing I can think of that hasn't is Marvel. Like Marvel, as far as I know, does not have one.
I
I could be wrong.
thought that there was. 1 second. Googling it because I could have swore
Yeah,
that they
I
had
am too.
something.
Oh, look, they do. Great. I'm smart. Yeah, Marvel superheroes. Um, when did it come out? Doesn't have it. 19. Yeah, it was 80s. Okay, yeah. Just as I
The
thought. It's
golden
like every.
age of tabletop games.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah, this. Oh man, why did all of the covers for tabletop role playing games look the exact same?
Uh, I don't know. Like they did the smart thing though with the DC one, which it's literally they took an Alex Ross cover, which looks freaking awesome because Alex Ross is an amazing artist, and they just slapped some logos on it. Maybe this one that I found is like an updated one or something. There's some newer looking art in here. No, I found out about it because I was looking at I was listening or watching a podcast where they were talking about, or this guy was talking about how he was DMing a DC tabletop game for the DC subscription service. Like there's a tabletop show on there that they're running. That's that game.
Oh, that's cool.
It's only like 5 episodes long or something, but that's there. And the DM is the guy who voices Darth Maul in Clone Wars and Rebels.
A good actor, yeah.
And he was like Star Killer in the Force Unleashed games and stuff like that. Like he's a good actor. He's really good. But I found out about that this morning, and I was like, "That sounds cool." And then I look into it. It's like, "Oh, you don't make characters in this. You just play as pre-existing ones and stuff."
Which does kind of make sense.
It does. It does. No, I like finding new ones, like new tabletop games. I've had the PDF for the Star Wars one for
Ever?
like 3 or 4 years now, just like waiting for the day that I can just I'm gonna make a one shot in this. I wanna play the Star Wars one so bad. I want to so bad.
I like learning about the systems behind games and like the mathematical concepts that, you know, govern the kind of dice that you roll in a game because that's how you get all of the really cool indie one-shot type games like Honey Heist or the Lasers and Feelings Carly Rae Jepsen game, which is still such a great concept. But I got distracted by this Wikipedia about the DC RPG, and it runs on a system that it looks like it works a lot like the Fate system. I will not get into that, but you just roll d6 and then a 3 up is a success, and then you add modifiers. But apparently it was also used for like a Hercules and Xena the Warrior Princess role-playing game that exists. Which,
yeah.
Hell yeah. It's also used in the Star Wars mini battle games, or at least a variant of it. So,
yeah. Well, and
everything
the
in the 80s had an RPG.
Yeah, exactly. The coolest thing for me with like the Star Wars RPG is that I don't know which one came first, which was Knights of the Old Republic or the tabletop RPG. I don't remember or recall exactly which one came first. But the rules are the same in both of those games.
Huh.
because Knights of the Old Republic is a turn-based RPG, and it's amazing. It's one of BioWare's best games still. I think BioWare made it. I'm pretty sure they did. I know they're working on the MMO. They've made the newest MMO for it. But like I literally, when I discovered the tabletop RPG, I was like, I want to learn how this game works. I played KOTOR to do that, because all the weapon damage and how damage is applied is exactly the same. And both have like a light side, dark side kind of like faction for them, where it's like like the GM can make decisions based off of what you as a party or as an individual choose, and it's like, here's this red token, take this, or here's this blue token, take this, and if you have too many of these, then like you're basically bad guy or good guy, and that can alter and stuff like that. And in some situations, if you go full dark side, like sometimes the GM can just make choices for you, because, or like just say you can't choose this one or this one,
right?
Basically.
Have I talked to you about Into the Dadlands?
I feel like you've mentioned it, but you haven't talked to me about it.
Okay.
So please do.
It operates on a very similar mechanic with the pulling tokens and like having a correct balance. But you play as... Okay, the world setting is a post-apocalyptic wasteland populated only by dads.
That's amazing. Okay. Keep going.
And there's different factions. There's like the drama dads. And then there's like the shop dads, who have genetically mutated to be designed to be perfect for working in dark shops for hours at a time. And there's the car dads, who have like a car park that, you know, the higher you are in the car park, the higher rank you are in the echelon of the car dads. And then there's the vacation dads who trudge along the desert holding on to like a kiddie rope. And the concept is great, and the point is that you basically get one dad from each of the factions to stage a heist to steal back the remote from one of the other dad factions, because there's the sofa mountains and a giant plasma TV.
Oh, the sofa mountains.
Yeah, it's very good. It's a free RPG. It was designed by the McElroys, who do a ton of RPG stuff now. And I don't know if you're familiar with Dimension 20 and College Humor stuff, but no. Brennan Lee Mulligan from College Humor was the DM for their kind of like intro game for this. Brennan is an amazing GM, like just putting it out there.
Was he the one that DM'd Tiny Heist?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, the name sounds really familiar.
He's the DM of Tiny Heist, and he's also like, if you've watched any of College Humor's like CEO skits, he's the guy that plays the CEO.
Yeah, oh, he was Badman as well, wasn't he?
Maybe. I haven't watched a ton of College Humor stuff, admittedly.
Okay.
But very good. But instead of rolling dice for the game, instead you wear a fanny pack and you pull out like poker chips, and if you pull out a red poker chip, then that's like a chaos pull. And if you pull out a green one, that's a law pull. And so if you're doing a move that requires something more chaotic and you pull a law, you lose the law token, and vice versa. So if you're all the way out of law tokens, you become a deadbeat dad. And if you lose all of your chaos tokens, you become a hard ass.
That's nailing it. That's nailing it right there.
It's incredible. Also, it's one of the live shows available through the Adventure Zone's, like podcast channel. 10 out of 10 would recommend that one shot. It is hilarious.
This came out a while ago, and I remember talking to you about it when it came out, but Geek and Sundry, the Critical Role crew, basically, they did because there's an old tabletop RPG called Deadwood or something like that, which is like the Western, like Cowboys and Indians tabletop RPG.
Yeah.
And they altered it and called it Undeadwood, which was basically they just put zombies and magic in it.
Hell yes.
Which was awesome. And I didn't get. I need to go back and finish it because I'm just now realizing I never finished watching that. It's a 4-episode one shot. It does the kind of the traditional like Geek and Sundry Critical Role thing where like people really like to take their time, and sometimes that can get pretty stale. But they created, I don't know if they created this mechanic or if this was a part of the original game, but it was really cool where the characters were all just like traditional like Western like motifs, and then they were like graced with a curse that allows them to use magic. And it's kind of similar to as far as I recall, it's similar to Monster of the Week, where it's like you can just, if you can think of a spell that you can do, you can just do it,
but you incur a cost or something.
But yeah, so what you have to do is that you have to gamble your soul for it.
Oh, I remember you talking about this. Right.
So yeah, so what it would happen was I want to shoot a fireball. And it's like, all right, so you need to get a straight in a game of poker really quickly. And you need to like pull out cards basically. You basically like it's a 1v1 against the house, which is the devil. And if you, depending on how well you do with your hand, it's determines how successful your spell is. And if it just is bad, you lose your soul or part of your soul. And eventually, if you're soulless, you're just like a husk that turns into a zombie or something like that. I didn't finish it, so I don't entirely know. But it was so interesting that you could just... that they just put poker into this Western game that was... it was so interesting.
I love that.
And then inspiration was done differently, where like you could earn inspiration, which was like a gold coin or like a poker chip. And at any point during the game, they could use the poker chip to basically get a hint at where the story is going or how to solve something. Which in the production of the show itself, they had a guy that was like the bartender. And if there was like, I'd like to spend my poker chip at the bar, and they would go to a different set, sit at a table, give him a chip, they'd give him a drink, and they'd have a conversation about the game in character. And they'd be like, so what's going on here? And they're like, well, maybe you should dig up this grave and see if there's somebody in it. Like they would just straight up tell you how to progress the story.
That would be a very handy mechanic.
And you can also like
there's only so many times you can throw someone into a bear trap before they get the plot.
What? I don't know where you're getting at.
No idea.
No idea. But they could also use the poker chip to prevent soul, like a part of your soul, from being lost in like a spell. So it was like a freebie if you wanted it to be, if you wanted a spell to just work.
Cool.
It was so interesting. It was like, oh, I would have loved to have played that too.
Speaking of Matt Mercer, okay. Dungeons and Dragons is not necessarily my favorite tabletop role-playing game, but sometimes there's so many good players out there and so many good stories that have been told with it that I can't help but come back to it. But Brandon Lee Mulligan, Matt Mercer, Erika Ishii, and a bunch of other people that I love did, it's not exactly a one-shot because I think there's like 4 episodes of it, on D20, and it's called Escape the Bloodkeep. And it's basically a story of it's not technically set in Lord of the Rings, but it's basically Lord of the Rings. What happened to the forces of evil after Sauron was killed?
Okay.
And so it's basically them.
I'm looking it up right now.
Escaping from that and like going on and, are we gonna go kill the good guys now? Like, what are we doing now that the evil overlord is dead? And so they play as like a bunch of minions. And Matt Mercer played Kraz Thune or Leland.
That's a good name. It's a good name.
Yeah, and it's on my I have watched a bunch of clips from it enough to know that it's absolutely hilarious. And Mercer does...
What is this on?
It's on Dropout.
Oh, it's Dropout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's the tale of 6 advisors to the Lord of Shadows, but after his abrupt death at the hands of the forces of light, it's up to them to figure out what's going on, what to do, and how to forever conquer the forces of light. And it is hilarious.
That sounds awesome. That sounds super awesome.
Yeah, I feel like it would be very up your alley.
I want to check that out. Because you mentioned Matt Mercer with that. The funniest thing about the Undeadwood thing was that at first, like, the beginning of it is because it's Brian Foster who's the DM or the GM for that, and Matt Mercer gets to play. And Mercer's just playing like a cowboy, you know. He's just
McCree.
He's no, that's it, right? Like, he's just kind of being McCree, like a darker, like a grittier McCree, but like he's doing the McCree voice.
I mean, that's Mercer's cowboy voice.
He shaved his facial hair to a handlebar mustache for the part.
I remember that.
And the funniest thing about it is that he just wasn't shooting well. Like, he would miss every shot that he did.
Much like Will Wheaton, I don't think he's necessarily the luckiest player out there.
No, it's not. He's
which is hilarious.
It's that's why he keeps on being the DM. He's just like, I don't roll well if I'm the player. But much like me, apparently, sometimes I roll really well, but sometimes
you get caught in 4 bear traps.
I get caught in.
It wasn't that many. I'm exaggerating.
I got caught in 1. Jacob got caught in 2.
Yeah. But the more bear traps I add to the number, you know, like, it gets funnier the more I exaggerate.
There was 30 bear traps. There were
so many bear traps.
But the dumbest but the funniest bit from Undeadwood is when Matt Mercer asks an NPC played by the DM, what time is it? And Brian Foster says, well, it's high noon. and Matt just gave him the most, like, evil glare. Just like, really? And he's just like, you know, I had to do it once, right? Like, I had to do it once. And he's like, all right, fair. And everyone's like, yeah, woo, he said the thing.
He said the thing. It's so good.
I'm sure he's just like, I mean, he's also Matt Mercer also is the guy that went on Twitch and played Overwatch and didn't tell people who he was and was imitating McCree while playing as McCree, and people were getting freaked out. So
yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, if I were a voice actor for a video game, especially a shooter, I would absolutely do that.
Oh, it's fun.
It's
fun.
What else would you expect, really?
I don't know if you've seen anything from it or like heard of it, but an indie studio just came out with a Predator game, which is kind of like Evolve or the Friday the 13th game, where it's like one person play as the monster and then a group of like 4 or 5 play as the humans trying to run away or deal with the monster. Yeah. I picked that up yesterday because I like the studio. All the people that work in that studio are really cool, and all of the humans are voiced by by various YouTubers and the crew at Funhouse, which is a Rooster Teeth studio. Which these are all people that like I adore and are amazing and are super talented. But there's something really funny about when I load up that game, I'm getting like mission requirements from Mr. Sark, and it's hurting my brain. I'm like, no, why are you stop? You're not like this, Sark. And then each specific character class is a different member of Funhouse. Like, the main assault person is James Willems, I think. And I'm just like, am I James? Is this James? James, when do I get to be Adam? I want to be Adam. I think he's support, and I don't. Oh no.
You don't play support.
I don't. I probably could in that game, but I played that for a couple hours yesterday. That was fun. It was a good time. I haven't been able to be the Predator yet because partially I don't want to.
You like being the hero too much.
Well, I like being guy with gun and being supported by a team.
So you like being the hero,
everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if hero is the right word. I'm terrified to be the Predator because I know I'm going to lose. Because from what I've seen online is that it is hard to play as the Predator in that game.
Makes sense.
Like, it's just difficult. Like, I've seen a couple Let's Plays of it, and like being the Predator generally ends with you are getting ganged up on by the human team.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm just like, oh no, I don't want to do that. I'll just be the human. I just want to be human. I like shooting gun. But Predator's cool. But yeah, that was I went on like a weird tangent there, but I was just talking about like people that I follow did voices for that, and it's like weird hearing their voices in the game.
It was incredibly weird. I booted up. I don't play a lot of video games, so like I booted up Destiny 2 the other week just for fun, like to take a break, and then it needed to update for 12 hours, and then by the end of it, I really wasn't willing to play anymore. But to go in and hear Anna Bray, who's the mission person on Mars, be voiced by Erika Ishii, is the weirdest thing. Because she's not the original voice actress from the first time that Anna was introduced to the game, but it's like, I know that person. What are you doing here? I mean, it works because, like, it's definitely a good casting choice. It's just also weird because she's Annabelle from Vampire the Masquerade in my head. Yeah. And then just internet personality and, like, see her all over the place. So to see her in the one game I play, it's like, huh. That's weird.
I don't remember her name. She has a Twitch channel called, like, Strange Rebel Gaming. But I'm trying to find her. I'm trying to remember her name. I'm going to look it up. But the girl who runs this is the voice of Aerith in FF7 Remake.
And then she probably played the remake.
Yeah, she's been playing it, and like I've been seeing the highlight clips of like the moment she gets to see her performance in the game, and like tears are just falling out of her face and out of mine as well. Watching her, because she's just she literally had this moment of like watching Aerith's performance going, oh man, the person who did this did a really good job. Oh wait, that was me. That doesn't feel like that's me. You know? Yeah. Like this character that she got to be that was so important to her childhood or just growing up, I should specify, which I totally get that. It's been really cool watching like her stuff with that game. Yeah. She did a couple episodes of the original FF7 with the guy who voices Barrett in the remake as well, and he's like, "Oh man, I played this game when it first came out. This is great. I love this game." You know, it's just like, I love this. I love this. There's been quite like a spike in like the performers getting out there and enjoying these games as kind of like performers in that aspect as of lately. Yeah.
We definitely live in an age where that's easier now.
I think with Nolan North and Troy Baker doing Retro Replay, that kind of like really started it. But I remember the first one that I saw that really like got big was the guy who voices, what's his name? I can't remember. He played one of the androids in Detroit Become Human.
So the main guy, Gavin? No.
It's the like the only good character in that game. Human.
It's like, I don't think I like any of the characters in that game, so like it's a bold ass.
I mean, in all honesty, I don't like that game either. Like, I don't think it's a very good game.
I think it hits I think they went too hard on the fake political stuff that it just comes across as tone deaf.
Well, I mean, there's literally a part where you're playing as the black android. You can write "I have a dream" on a wall.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh, come on, dude.
It reaches, and it's also just, again, tone deaf. I did enjoy getting to play as Kara and beating the crap out of the abusive dad.
Oh yeah, that was
great.
Abusive dad in all of them.
So
Brian DeChart is his name.
Yeah.
He plays Connor.
Oh yeah. I don't know why I thought his name was
that character.
Gavin.
I was like, I don't know who Gavin is.
Gavin's one of the detectives, I think, in like one of the characters, not one of the actors.
Yeah. Connor's the android that hangs out with Mr. Krabs and they solve crimes together.
Yeah. His name's Connor. He's a android sent by Cyberlife. Huh. Yeah. That guy is really weird. Like, I've watched some of his replays from his streams and stuff, and that guy is an interesting fella.
No, he's definitely a weirdo. And I've watched some of his stuff too, but yeah, I was just saying, like, he was the first one in a while where I was like, oh, this actor is just playing the games and making a medium out of it, like a lot of just like fans do. And I think that's super cool that more and more are doing that.
Sorry?
Nolan North is like...
No, there's good. A baby crying
Nolan North is like...
Here. Sorry, I can't control him. He's a baby.
That's fine. It'll be okay. We will work with it. But like, Nolan North is like going to be starting his Uncharted 3 playthrough here soon. And Troy Baker isn't there anymore. He left Retro Replay to... I don't know exactly what he's doing. He's like... he's trying to be bigger with music, I think, right now. But like, via Zoom, he's going to be playing through Uncharted 3 with basically the whole cast of that game.
Wow.
Like, not all at once, but like one episode he's going to be with the person that plays Elena, and the next one he's going to be with the person that plays Sully, and all of this stuff, and it's going to be cool, and they're going to all see Nolan North just like not be good at the game. I love Nolan North to death, and he's one of the reasons why I even wanted to be like an actor to begin with. But like, boy, does he not know how to hold a controller very well.
I feel that.
Yeah. Hey, just in case people weren't aware, we're doing it live.
A half hour
37 minutes. Hey, we're doing it live, y'all. My name's Chase.
Olivia, and we have just the longest preambles. That's not even what the show was gonna be about, but like, here we are.
No, literally, I was like, we had a plan. This is what we were gonna talk about. And then we just started talking about RPGs, and I was like, well, this is genuinely a good conversation, really, so let's just keep this going. So I think
for like the second half of this episode, we should talk about the gym. That way we can use the Swole For Initiative name that we came up with in our first episode.
Oh my gosh. No, we can't just throw it out there. We can't. We have it.
But the gym.
Do you want to talk about the gym? I'll be honest with you. I have nothing to say about gyms.
Yeah. See, yeah.
Even the one that we work with is not a very amazing dude. So
bad, but I need one of those soundboards so that I can just insert,
the boom.
Yes, a rim shot into there. No, it's funny that I'm the jock of the podcast here.
I don't think that's funny at all. It makes perfect sense.
Nah, it's funny.
Yeah.
Can you hear that? It's the audience laughing.
That's good.
It's comedy. Comedy gold.
It's comedy.
I miss the gym. I miss working out. I miss being sore. I've come to the conclusion over working out at home that I was way overdoing it at the gym, and that's why I kept getting sick and having really bad mood swings. So, apparently overdoing it is really bad for you.
Sounds about right.
The good news is I didn't murder anybody over the course of figuring that out. The bad news is...
Did you come close, though?
Maybe.
The bad news?
You know what? We don't gotta talk about the bad news. It's a good it's a happy podcast.
It's a
happy pod.
Happy podcast time.
I want to get to the point, strength training wise, where I can reasonably say that I have a +4 modifier to strength.
Like my rogue did in the last RPG that I had.
That is such a weird rogue build, but yes.
It wasn't the plan. At one point, Dex was the highest, and then Dragonborn stats raised strength up. So I'm like, okay. No, I was like talking to Matt about like, because he's on keto still.
Proud of him for sticking
to
that.
And he's trying to. Yeah, I know. I think he's doing all right.
I should text him back.
But he was.
Sorry, Matt.
Did he text you?
Remember, I sent him that thing about designer lingo, and then he's like, "Hey, I hope you're doing good." And I'm like,
"It's like, oh no, I'm texting my boss. I have to go now." I don't know how to interact with
my boss outside of like actually sitting in his office and being a gremlin. So, I'll text him later. I promise.
I'll get
there and work.
You'll get there.
Yeah. Someday I'll be better friends with Matt. But in the meantime, I'm leaving him on red. But continue. Matt's still doing keto.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Matt's doing well. He's working on keto and, like, he's exercising. And I was like, you know, maybe I should try and get exercise and stuff here soon, which I should. I actually really should.
It's fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it might just be nice to do something different, in all honesty. But he sent me like an app, and it's like, this is the app that I use because I'm not going to the gym, and it's like
Fitbod, right? Fitbod.
Did I keep the app or did I throw it away in the garbage? I threw it away in the garbage, so I don't know.
Did it have like a person on it doing a lunge?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like a little stick figure, dude.
He sent me the same one.
Yeah.
And it's really good, actually.
Yeah, I played with it and I made an exercise plan that was like, oh, this actually makes sense, right? And then I made it, and then I was like, well, I'm not going to do this now because it's like 8:00 in the evening when I set this up, so I'll start tomorrow. And then my phone got a notification in the morning, hey, do this now, and I went, no, and I deleted the app.
That sounds about right. I quite honestly feel like I'll do it tomorrow is the killer of all dreams.
Oh, it is, and it was just a bad time because I was like, I'm glad that I set this up, and I really just wanted to play with the app because I wasn't going to exercise at like 9:00 at night.
Hey, I have found that is a good way to knock yourself out.
Yeah,
quite honestly,
it's not bad
because I work out in the mornings, and then it's like the entire drive to work, or in this instance, getting back home and trying to make dumplings. Like, nah, it's nap time, baby. I could have gone back to bed.
It's nap time, baby. Yeah. No,
Don't mock me.
I will. I will. Don't give me that look that nobody can see.
Are we no longer recording video?
Oh, we are. It's just nobody watches it.
Touché. Aha.
Sorry. One person watches the first 5 seconds of them and types, let's be YouTube friends, and then leaves a link to his like SoundCloud or something like that.
One of those people.
And it's always it's always like a music guy. He's like, hey, use my free to use music tracks or something. And I'm
gross music guys.
I know. Someone else, or maybe the same guy with multiple channels, has been bugging my personal YouTube channel because I've been uploading a lot of like Resident Evil 2 stuff lately, and like actually putting in the work of making good videos. Good. You've seen the clips.
I think they're funny.
I would classify those as quote unquote good.
Yeah, I think they're enjoyable, but I might be biased.
Well, I appreciate it. But he's just like, do you want to be YouTube friends? I'm like, no. No, I'm just making this because I've got nothing else to do.
What does YouTube friends imply, my guy?
I have no idea. And honestly, a lot of those channels are bots.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to figure out how to make it into a friends with benefits joke and then just stopped.
You don't want to be friends with benefits with a music guy. I'll just tell you that.
Speak from experience, Chase.
I don't want to talk about it.
Did your heart get broken?
It was a guitar guy, okay?
Guitar guys are the worst, man.
I know! I was actually really good friends with a guitar guy.
My youth group leader was a guitar guy. He taught me how to play guitar. I don't remember how to do it. I'm music illiterate. Mm-hmm. Continue.
I mean, I have a guitar because I took guitar class in high school. Like my senior year, I took a semester of guitar, and I was actually learning quite a bit.
As you do.
And then the class ended, and I was like, well, let me keep going. And then a string broke on my guitar. And then I never touched it again.
I could fix that for you. That's easy enough. That's the one guitar. I can do maintenance on instruments. I just can't play good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I may not even have it anymore. It wasn't a very, like, it was one of the super cheap, like, $100 to $150 guitars, like, at Walmart.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it wasn't even like that good of a guitar. It was just like a means of taking the class.
Fair.
You know?
I mean, you could always borrow my Mamma Mia guitar.
I love your Mamma Mia guitar.
It's still got the spider on and everything. I haven't gotten around to washing off the rest of the paint. But I did Sharpie the spider on there. Okay, how about this? People who didn't go to see Mamma Mia. Chase and I...
What's Mamma Mia?
Chase and I worked on Mamma Mia last summer. Summer through fall of 2019, and I was in charge of props and he was the stage manager. And Chase has a habit of putting spiders into his shows as small nods to the man of spiders. That's fair to say.
You have to be careful because there is a man spider.
I know there's a man spider. The man of spiders. Yes. But when I bought a child's guitar to use in the scene where Harry sings, and he basically uses it once in the show, I got a kitty guitar from the secondhand store, and I put a spider on the back of it in Sharpie, and painted a lot of other crap on the front. It's a terrible guitar. I almost had to punch multiple ensemble members because they wouldn't stop touching it.
Well, and that's also what made it kind of get worse because people kept touching it.
It got better because Jake Busby actually like restrung it and tuned it, and so for a little while there, it actually sounded all right. So if I retuned it, it'd probably still sound pretty all right.
Yeah, and then but it's still just like a little kitty guitar.
Yeah, it's just a ring ding 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 ding.
Ding 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 ding.
Exactly.
There was that violin that I got from our mutual friend, that broke. Like it, like literally, I wasn't able to tune it. Like it wouldn't let me tune it properly. And then when I finally got it, it broke 2 of the strings.
Ooh.
And I'm like, well, that's $80 down the drain.
Yeah.
This is what I get for trying to get back into this instrument that I played for 6 years.
Yeah, you'll find an all right one.
Yeah, maybe.
I know I said I'm music illiterate, but I actually am borrowing one of Jacob's flutes. My boyfriend Jacob is a music guy. So me making jokes about music guys earlier is probably a little mean.
It's fine. I started it.
Touche. But because of this whole quarantine thing, I'm like, well, I want to pick up a hobby. And you've promised for a year now to teach me how to play flute. So let's do this thing. And so he lent me his high school level flute. And I can actually almost play the entire B major. Yeah, the B major scale. I can almost do that. It's been
almost
like a month and a half. I'm music illiterate, but I am learning, and I'm at the point where, like, once I can actually play like a song on the flute, I'm going to start saving up for a nicer flute so that I can give Jacob his back. Because
right on.
By his own admission and by me trying out his other flute, which is like college level, it's not a great flute. It stays in its box for a reason. It's not a great flute. Makes it very hard to do half of the notes in the chord scale music information, but it's actually fun. It's way too easy to make dirty jokes.
Yeah. Oh. I won't say her name, but a friend of mine from high school had, like, she was taking some writing class. It was high school, whatever. She had to write a poem about something, but not, like, specifically say what it was. So she wrote a poem about, and it had to be like a page long. Yeah. But she wrote a poem about the flute.
I've been playing flute for like a month, and I know exactly what line this is going down.
Well, yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much, but all I'll say is that that's one of the greatest poems I've ever read. I made several copies of it.
Do you still have one? Because I would like to see it.
If I can find it, I will. Yes. It's been that was years ago at this point. Like my senior year of high school.
Yeah, that was like 4 years ago.
2015 is when I graduated.
5 years ago?
Yeah, so about 5 years. 4 to 5 years.
Lordy.
So if I have it, I will send you a copy because you don't even know this person. But oh my gosh, it's
nothing like sharing the intimate poetry of someone you don't know.
If I recall, she wrote it because it was just an assignment, and she wasn't like, "Oh God, this poem is my life," I figured or anything not. Like but also, that.
It's way funnier to put it that way. Again, be quiet for a second. Yeah, see the joyful peals of laughter from the audience. They thought it was great.
There it is.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Oh no! I just remember everybody was laughing at this poem, and she just didn't understand why. She's like, "I don't get it. This song is about the flute," and we're like, "Oh, we know. It's about the flute, all right."
Oh man, I really need to see it now because
I will. I will look for it and I will send it your way. Audience members, I'm so sorry. I'm not posting it in any way whatsoever into public.
Oh God.
Are you gonna like learn like? I think the coolest thing with the flute are the people that like beatbox with it.
Yes, that would be awesome. I would love to do that.
I think I remember the first time seeing that was like on an episode of iCarly or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. They did like the talent show episode or something like that. I don't know. But it's like, oh man, beatboxing flute is so good. It's so cool.
Right. Yeah, I am.
And then. Oh, what?
Yeah, no, See, I can't even talk about the things I'm having issues with without making this podcast go from vaguely PG to not. Because there's no way to talk about playing the flute without making it into a dirty joke.
Hey, you can make all the dirty jokes you want, at least for me. I'm half of the business here. So if you don't want to go higher than PG, then that's fine.
Yeah,
but I'm saying that you're
what rated
good.
is this podcast anyway? Now that we're 6 episodes in,
I mark it as explicit because I swear.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man, yeah. So
but it does say like, do you mark it as explicit? Yes. Do you want to block it off from children? No. I write that specifically.
Yeah. Then I will keep my thoughts to myself, and maybe I'll text you text you the horrible jokes later. I remembered. So I've been going to the comic shop a lot lately. And by a lot, I mean I've gone like twice in the last week and a half.
Oh wow, that's quite a bit.
I went to pick up comics, and then I went yesterday to drop off comics.
That's right, because you got that Joker graded.
Yes, I sent in my You're the Villain Joker shop variant to get graded, and I'm very excited about that. But Lou and I were talking about like distribution and stuff, and so finally next Wednesday, first new comic book day since the pandemic.
Yay!
So excited. And there's like this whole thing going on with Diamond Comics, who's basically the only distributor, and DC, like because of the pandemic, technically Diamond is in breach of contract. And DC now has adjusted their contract with Diamond and are also using Midtown Comics as a supplier now. Or as a distributor. Okay. And that basically means that shops can like get their comics from Midtown Comics. I think I'm explaining this right. But Lou made it very, very clear to me that he's not going to get any of his DC stuff from Midtown, because like Midtown Comics is one of the really big comic shops, right?
Yeah.
And that's like buying your stock from your competitors directly and opening yourself up to just like a lot of unnecessary risk. So heads up for anybody who listens for all of our amazing comic talks on here. Don't worry. Aegis is still getting all their comics from Diamond and will not be buying from the competitor. And as such, all the standards and everything should stay the same shipping wise.
Well, I'm sure that's one of the things that probably scared Diamond into finally shipping books again.
Yep, probably. That would make sense as well.
Because they're like, oh, if we don't, we're going to lose even more money. Yeah. So we might as well open up shop again. Yeah.
I'm just glad that nobody else is like, Blue's explained it to me a couple of times because I've been in the shop multiple times. But like, at that point, like, why not cut out the middleman and just order your comics from Midtown directly as consumers? And by opening yourself up to that as as Aegis, as the comic shop, like, you're paving the way for Midtown to come in and steal your customers with like lowered rates and being like, hey, for this month, we'll get you all of your comics you're getting through us for like 50 cents. And then you just come and get all your comics from us from here on out. Like,
yeah.
Well, that would wreck a lot of shops. So, they're not doing that. And I'm glad of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a whole movement going on. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's the comeback, the back the comeback movement going on right now, which is for like getting local shops to be reopening and redistributing books again. And that's going on right now. Like, there's like the preview world website will like link you directly to like the movement's page, where it's like, download this image and put it on your videos and on your Facebook posts and blah 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 and all of that stuff, which is just literally a movement of, let's get distributors distributing the books back to the local shop so that they can operate again, because, as you know, we're still in quarantine, quote unquote, but things are starting to kind of like reopen, and like business is slowly coming back, carefully, but it is coming back. They're just like, let's make sure these as many shops as we can stay open, because a bunch have been shut down.
Yeah. Unfortunate
because of all of this.
Yeah, that's good info to have. Also, like, probably my final note on comics, because, like, I think we could just keep going on this for, like, another hour.
We absolutely could keep going for another hour.
Did you see the most recent issue of, like, Harley Quinn that got put up? I think it's issue 73, maybe?
No.
The most recent issue of Harley Quinn, Ivy's back on one of her, like, humanity sucks, I'm, I'm Ollie on out. And Harley's still out with the Joker, and she has a crush on Booster Gold. Like, it's a team up.
Harley has a crush on Booster Gold?
The issue is like a team up of the two of them. And oh my gosh. I will have to send you the link. It is, hey, I love it.
I'm trying to look up like the.
I can send it to you because.
Oh, I think I've seen this cover. I saw this cover at the shop, but I didn't know anything about the book.
It's I think it's cute.
Oh my gosh. Booster Gold is the worst.
Well, no, that's part of the hilarity of this.
There is an animated movie. I can't remember what it's called. It's called like Batman and Harley Quinn or something, and it's drawn in the animated series style, but it's a story about Harley Quinn helping Batman and Nightwing stop Poison Ivy from like turning everyone on the planet to plants, as you do. There is a point where they realize that they're kind of out of their league because it's Poison Ivy teaming up with like not Swamp Thing, but like bad guy Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
And Batman and Nightwing are kind of like, well, we could use some help. So like they called like Justice League headquarters. Like, is Superman available? And he's like, nope. Is Aquaman available? No. But it's Booster Gold that's the one on the line, and he's like, I'm available. I can come over right now. And at that point, you see Nightwing. He's eating a burger. He takes the burger out of the wrapper and he gives the wrapper to Batman, and Batman starts scratching it into the phone. He's like, and then and then you hear Kevin Conroy Batman go, "Sorry, Booster. We're getting some interference here. You're breaking up. We'll be fine on our own. See ya."
Oh my gosh. Poor Booster Gold.
And then you see Nightwing just go, "Whew, that was close." And you don't see Batman do anything except just like a quick little just like a quick breathe in and breathe out. Just like, thank God.
Aww. See, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for losers.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's why we're friends. Yep. Thank you. I appreciate you.
You caught me. It's just like, he's so dumb and he's trying. I will say, Booster Gold in Batman the Brave and the Bold is super funny. He's very good in that show. I really enjoy the Booster Gold bits in Brave and the Bold. Yeah.
He has his moments. He does have his moments. You had a excited look on your face.
Yesterday, a new on the Harley thing, because I can keep going about comics.
Keep going.
Yesterday, not only did the new season of She-Ra, the new / final season of She-Ra drop, which I don't know if you care about that, but
I've been wanting to watch it. I haven't.
It's a pretty good show, and if you hated the end of Voltron, you'll enjoy the end of She-Ra.
I haven't even seen Voltron yet, so
don't waste your time.
Oh, I've been told this. Yes, I have been told that. So,
but DC also has that show about Harley. Yesterday, they had an official Harley Ivy kiss. Like they
on the new Harley Quinn show.
Like they acknowledged the tension, and now it's.
But she's with Kite Man.
Well,
what happened to Kite Man?
I don't know, but she did share a passionate "you just saved my life" smooch with Ivy. It was Thank you, Tumblr, for bringing this to my attention. I found this out approximately like 3.5 hours ago when I was scrolling through because I was like awake but unhappy about it. I was like, well, that's nice. We're probably talking about comics today.
Possibly.
I'll mention it when we're talking about comics. It's us. We're going to talk about comics.
I can't, like... I don't have the DC, like, channel or whatever. Like, I'm not paying for that, and I don't really want to. There's some stuff on there that I want to watch. Like, I want to watch Doom Patrol, and I want to see the Young Justice 3rd season and stuff like that. But I've seen so many clips of Harley Quinn, and some of it is just solid, and I'm like, this is really funny. And then some of it, I'm just like, this is bad.
It's really hit or miss.
It's weird, and I don't really like the person who's playing Harley that much.
I'm not saying that, she should have a monopoly on Harley, why she's kind of the popular face of it, but Margot Robbie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, if they had gotten the person who voiced her in the animated series, or even got Tara Strong, who's been voicing her for years, I probably would have liked it more.
Yeah.
But maybe they were trying to get away from the really, like, the thick Jersey accent kind of thing.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, and this is kind of at least just my opinion with a lot of Harley Quinn stuff, whenever Harley Quinn is, like, the focus, for me, the most interesting stuff is always everyone else around. And that's not a bag on Harley. It's just, like, she does really well with groups.
She does.
So, like... In the clips that I've seen in the Harley Quinn TV show, like Ivy, Kite Man, the short guy, I can't remember his name. Like, those guys are the funnier ones to me. But she does a good job of bouncing off with them. So she's really good, but she's good with groups. And that's why I think Birds of Prey was really good, because the whole time she's dealing with a stupid kid. And then also she gets to hang out with Huntress and Canary and stuff like that. And those bits are the really strong points for me in that movie.
Yeah.
And the sandwich part.
The sandwich part.
But
all of the sandwich parts were really good. Yeah. I could go for a sandwich.
Yeah. But, I don't know. Some of that stuff in the Harley Quinn TV show is just like, it's hit or miss. The Lego movie did it. And it was funny in the Lego movie. I'm getting really sick of anytime Bane shows up in a comedic way.
I was going to ask about that.
It's just the Dark Knight Rises voice. Like, it's just like, we're going to just ham the Tom Hardy voice because it's funny. I'm like, I hate it. Bane is actually legit a cool character in the comics. And he's such a cool character, and they've resorted him to being this dumb joke.
Yeah.
That is also super badass.
Conceptually,
I don't get it.
Like, the joke works in Lego Batman because Lego Batman is a comedy. It is not taking itself seriously, and in so much as that, it does make it the best Batman movie. Just saying. But I hate the stupid Bane voice. Like, it bothered me in the cartoon, and it bothered me in seeing that clip from this cartoon. It's just like, no, I think it just works better, especially if he's just a side character that's not being played up for laughs for 5 minutes like he was in Lego Batman. Like, give him a real voice. Please.
Yeah. No, it's I saw a very specific clip. It was a fight in the Harley Quinn show. It's a fight between Bane and Batman. Batman's like in an Iron Man suit, and they're going at it, right? Yeah. And it's actually a really well animated, put together fight scene. There's some parts of it that are pretty chunky, and you could tell they had to cut and stuff like that. But you could also tell a lot of the money from this episode went into this fight specifically. Yeah. Bane is like a badass in this fight. Like, he beats the shit out of Batman, and it's just like... And it's actually fairly well put together. But then cuts in between this fight, you hear the, Batman, that wasn't very nice. Why would you do this to me?
Is he a big beefy monster man, or is he 77 in and a half.
Yeah, right. So it's like he basically kills Batman, leaves him for dead, and like breaks his legs, and so it's a cool fight. And then the next scene after is him talking to Two-Face, going, "I want to talk about our partnership because I think you're taking all the credit," and blah blah blah. And it's just like, oh my god, stop ruining this character.
Yeah.
Like, he was bad once, and it was in the first time he was ever on a screen or live action screen, which was that Batman and Robin, the one with Uma Thurman? Yeah, Bane was in that, and he wasn't Bane. He was just a guy. He was called Bane, and he had venom, but he was just Muscle Man that just didn't speak English. But the character's so good in the comics. He's like this super intelligent, like Hispanic wrestler that loves drugs.
As you do.
You know? As you do. He's a good character, and I'm tired of people hamming him up because he's just some muscle man that, I don't know.
Feelings.
We're kind of going a bit long. We're at an hour and 10.
What happens when we talk comics?
What happens? We were going to have a discussion about like podcasts and podcasting in general, and kind of like what influences us in our being creative.
I guess we got a plan
stuff
for
like
next
that.
time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. Thank you for everybody that's watching / listening. Just a reminder, we're on Spotify, we're on SoundCloud, we're on YouTube. I continue to work on getting that to other places. I want to get us on iTunes, but I just haven't done that yet. It shouldn't be too bad. I just have to make another iTunes account. But we're there. Give us some likes and some comments. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't. Share it with your friends and everybody. Yeah. Liv?
Yes.
Thanks for the talk.
Yeah. It's good.
We did it live. We were doing it live. We're no longer doing it live.
Bye-bye. Stop recording. Ah!